internal wrangling between the People's National Convention is continuing to deepen, with the latest being a move by the party leadership aimed at ensuring that its embattled General Secretary Janet Nabla is investigated and possibly prosecuted. In a letter addressed to the Inspector General of Police and signed by the National Women's Organizer Hidayah Sanyun Ibrahim, they described the comments by Janet Nabla as threats of violence, harm, treason and acts of terrorism, and asked the police to investigate her. The statement said her claims that she has terrorists at her disposal are having boys from Wale Wale who could terrorize the party is one that could endanger the lives of women and children should this result in any form of violence. Bernard Mona is a former chairman of the People's National Convention. He joins me for a conversation. Thank you, Bernard. This must be worrying to you, looking at all that's been happening in the party you chaired, some time back. How do you react to all that's been happening and your advice to deal with the infighting?
Let me speak unequivocally that I'm distraught by the disturbances in my party. It doesn't lend any hope for a party determined to lead the political space. Many of our party folks are devastated by the leadership wrangling, and you look at the issues for which reason these battles are ongoing. They are trivial as they are petty. And one would have expected that a certain level of rationality will be tolerated among the leadership. In other words, I would have thought that we can reach rapprochement on this matter without necessarily engaging in the kind of pitiful sight that our party has now been turned into. I have said elsewhere, and let me repeat that on your show, that both factions are wrong in their approach to the issues at stake. I think that it was untenable for the General Secretary to sit at home and write a letter to a disciplinary committee. You are emboldening those of us who are ordinary members that any time a party sets up a committee, we can also, if we disagree with the composition of the committee, we can just sit at home and write. You should appear before the committee, put up your case as to why some people may be impartial towards you, and on that basis you can then call on the committee to reconstitute itself or to get back to leadership for unacceptable. This is what is done in court. You don't run away from the judge because you think that the judge may be biased towards you. You rather go to court, adduce reasons for which the judge should recuse he or herself. And in this instance, our General Secretary let us down. The other instance is where we are told that the General Secretary also wrote a letter to the Electoral Commission claiming that some people are not recognized national officers, when it is the same Electoral Commission that supervised the national elections in October last year. So I think that there are wrongs. Okay. That the leadership, that is the chairman and the presidential candidate, should also be petitioners on this issue of insubordination of the General Secretary to the disciplinary committee. And when the report is submitted, they also now go to sit at the same neck and then to supervise the implementation of the disciplinary committee's report. It's like a judge sitting in his own petition, and therefore there is something untenable. Okay. In view of that, one would think that there is a Council of Elders, and that the Council of Elders should be probably the last resort to these matters before you can think about seeking external opinions or settlement of the matter. This has not been done, and I keep insisting that there are elders in our party, and these elders are very knowledgeable. They have worked in many institutions. Some of them have helped in resolving very difficult conflict situations in some parts of the world. And it should not be difficult for us to get to the elders and ask them to resolve this matter. On my personal note, let me say that there are some people who I cannot openly mention their names into the public for one reason or the other. But they have been very instrumental in the work of our party, contributing enormous resources in terms of ideas, in terms of policy positions, and even in terms of financial packages to the party. And I have appealed to these people not to sit down to allow our party to descend into the gutters. And so probably in a few days, these people will rise to the occasion and start to call the leadership to order so that we'll be able to save the party from further collapse.